What up, everybody? Welcome to the 505 interview series coming to you from the 505 Summer Lounge. What a beautiful day it was today. Gorgeous. Wow, I'm glad to be back. Last week had a little family thing had to take care of, and now we're back, and I'm excited for my guest tonight. But before I get the show started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. It's free. That's right. Hit that like button because, the more likes we get, the analytics kind of push it out to more people so more people can enjoy the fun and shenanigans and games that we have going on over here. Also, as a reminder, pinned in the comment section on YouTube and down in the description on Facebook and LinkedIn, click on my link tree there. Go support my advertisers, sponsors, and preferred retail partners. They help continue to keep all the programming going on the show that you know and love, and your support goes a long way in helping maintain that continues. Whether you're looking for delicious, delicious morsels of the mouth hole, or you're looking for accessories, I got you covered. Use the exclusive promo codes that are only available to my viewers out there to save yourself some coinage, because I'm a man of the people and I'm here for you. I want you to save some money and enjoy yourself. So, my guest tonight, she has probably the biggest brand I fell in love with in 2024. It is phenomenal. I love her stuff, what she does. She is a great manufacturer and purveyor of delicious, delicious fermented plant matter out there. Not only that, she's also a content creator. She has a podcast. She's half of a podcast there, Smokin Hermanas. Where she basically they bring in entrepreneurs and promote entrepreneurs. They bring in women who are within the industry as well for some empowerment and putting that shine on some of the women in the industry who don't get the love that they deserve. She's a phenomenal woman. I can't wait to talk to her. And of course, I'm going to steal her tagline as I bring her on here. So, órale, mi gentes, let's bring on Miss Wanda Hernandez of Stixxx Stones Cigars.
Hi, hola, mi gente. How are you?
I am good. Glad to
Oh
see
my
you.
gosh. Oh my God, it's good to see you. I think that was like the best introduction that I ever had. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish I could have recorded it. I need that sometimes to help me get out of bed when I'm too tired to seize the day.
Well, it came from the heart. You're beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful
I know.
purveyor of delicious treats of the mouthful. And
Thank you.
I fell in love with your brand as I got introduced to your brand by our mutual friend CK from Cigars and
Yeah.
Sundays, who wanted to share. He wanted to share your brand with me to get my thoughts. What did I think? Because he really likes them, and I go, okay.
Yeah.
After smoking, I was just like, damn, dude, this girl's got it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to be smoking our Robusto de Mi Gente, a full body blend tonight. This is actually my go-to. It's one of my go-tos. I just reset my palate with a little piece of dark chocolate, and I really love it. It's full of flavor. It's a robust. It's a little kicker and a nice bite size. I actually really do enjoy. This is my go-to, the
I
beautiful mi
enjoy.
gente, and you have La Esia de Amor. I love it.
That's
I
right.
love it. Yes, that's my fun cigar. I think it's so much fun. I think it just takes you on a beautiful ride of creaminess and spice, and it just has this nice versatility to it, complexity. I just think that's such a just beautiful cigar. It's a tribute to it's actually translate La Esia de Amor is called the essence of love, and that's the love that I have for the culture. We're all a little bit of spicy, a little bit of creamy. We all bring a little something different to the cigar culture, so I think it fits well. But yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to finally be on your show. When CK introduced you to my brand, um, I shortly after got a call from another mutual friend that we have, Daphne from Black Box Cigar subscription club, and he just went all in. And when he called me, I was like, how does this guy know me? I don't think I was quickly going into my notes, like, where did I meet this guy from? I don't remember. And then he told me about you and then CK, and I have been following you already. So I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And these beautiful cigars did exactly what they're supposed to do: bring people together, bring us all together. And now look at us. We all have these mutual friendships with Stefania. She's just such a sweetheart. I just love her, and then we just, yeah, all these beautiful friendships that has been developing just through these beautiful babies.
Yes. Yes, and Dantley asked me to curate one of the monthly boxes, and
Yes.
so I said, well, I'm going to put my curation is going to be brands and that or cigars that I'm really high on to start off 2024, and I had to
Yeah.
include your stick because that smoking that Mi Gente was it was beautiful, and I go, this I need more of this in my life, and I'm like, more people need to know about this brand because because after I smoked it, I started researching you because I wanted to find, like, I gotta find out more about her. What's she about, her brand? And I watched some old interviews you were on, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this chick, she's got it.
Oh man, thank you.
She is definitely on her way to getting what needs to be done. So when Dantley asked me, it was a no-brainer to include you in that monthly box that I did. I was like, she
Thank you.
have to be exposed to her brands.
It was an honor, as both of my blends have been different months, but both of the blends have been in Black Box Cigar Club, and it's been an honor. Honestly, it's always an honor when you come across good people and who really appreciate what you're doing, and want to be a part of exposing others to your passion, your vision. So it definitely was an honor. It just was like, I was like, wow, okay. It took me back because I'm like a I'm an individual that is fully aware of what she has and what she has to offer, but I'm also really humble. So it always makes me really happy when, someone gives me a feedback or kickback saying, I really enjoy what you're doing. So that means a lot to me. It makes me want to continue to just be better and do better. And, it's just not about me. It's
Yeah.
about everybody who stands beside me, in this. So yeah.
So before we get further there, for the people who are watching who may not know about you or know a lot about you, I will hand it over to you to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about you and your background, so to kind of
Yeah.
give people a little bit of information about you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Wanda Hernandez. I'm an Afro Latina owned cigar owner. And, I've been around for some time, been around for many years. Before starting my own cigar line, I, worked with other small cigar brands, curating events. I have my business, which is Stixxx Stones Productions, LLC. And this is where Stixxx Stones Cigars falls under. And, this is also, you mentioned Smokin Hermanas, our new platform, falls under this because it's an umbrella to produce and to create. I'm a retired detective with NYPD, and my time on the job is when I learned to smoke from a mentor. So a mentor who is a true and through cigar aficionado. No certificate needed. He is a true cigar aficionado, and I was very fortunate and blessed to learn a lot from him, and also have the exposure of other individuals who are in the industry and learn from them and gain some guidance. But yeah, I'm just, I'm a girl from the Bronx, born and bred. This is my passion. This is, when I got into smoking cigars, it's a tool. I saw it as a tool, for the grander vision, for the grander picture. And that was, as I said, I've been around for about 18 years, in the cigar culture, less in the industry, but, I've been around. And I saw a space that was not fair, and it was much needed for us women. And the vision, and not just that, just to kind of break out of the mold of what I guess, what we've seen as far as the media goes, when it comes to, like, as far as cigar publications. And there's a certain look and criteria, and it didn't always look like me, right? So and it was to be able to create a space, an all inclusive space, and that's what we stand for. We stand for all inclusivity. And this is our common denominator right here. This is the natural equalizer, as we all say, right? So yeah, so again, having curating events, and Sticks and Stones was supposed to come out to be a podcast showing, the cigar culture, the community. However, I wanted to do more, and I figured that doing more and being able to do it on a grander scale, I had to really create something that was tangible, that people can touch, smell, taste, take it with them. It becomes a real conversation, and the conversation starts there. And then, you have the vision begins to develop and grow, and the mission. Then you get people coming onto the mission and understanding it. So that's us in a nutshell. Sticks and Stone Cigars. I'm just a girl from the Bronx who always had a dream and a vision. If it was about cigars or whatever it was, and I'm just a determined person to make it happen. That's it.
And a few shout outs from people who have been popping in on there. We got the
Hey.
Tim Walker, the cigarologist. Welcome, sir. Fantastic show. Anybody who's watching, go follow and subscribe to Tim. He does a fantastic show out there. We got Mr. Rick. Your New York, your New York buddies there, Mr. Rick. What's up,
Hola, Maldonado. How are you? How are you? We got Stefania. Hi. Hi, Queen. How are you?
out there? And Manny, good to see you, Manny. So yes,
Thank
excellent.
you for joining us.
Yeah, so it's good. So when did the idea hit that you said, I want to do the podcast, but I also want to manufacture cigars? Was this supposed to be more of just kind of a personal blend or a house blend? Or is this something
No.
that you really wanted to dig into and say, I want my brand, my name on a brand?
Well, when I developed Sticks and Stones Productions, it was a really good friend of mine, Kendall Word, who actually, he's part of the Sticks and Stones team. He does a lot of our promotional graphics, and he's the director of our art team, right? He's a team of one, but he's the head of it. He makes it happen. So I have a small handful team. Well, no, I'm gonna say two hands. It's a team of us that they really helped me make this happen. But to get back to what she was asking me, the podcast was just simply was supposed to be an addition to what I was doing with the small boutique cigar brand that I was working with. So you know that that didn't work out as far as the collaboration that I had with that brand. And it was more so the lack of I think the lack of respect, what you bring to the table, what you have done, and also, someone not being able to see a grander vision beyond themselves. So basically because it was said and not in my presence that it was felt I wasn't capable of doing it.
Ah, so
Right.
this was to show proof I can do it and I will do it because what I get out garner from you is that when you're the type of woman that if somebody tells you you can't do it, you'll do it. But also, you're very determined and driven. So that's just added motivation you already don't need.
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, it initially, well, that was what set the flame on high. And I started really focusing, okay, let me get this podcast going. Let me do, because I know I can make this happen. I was one of the big reasons why people were coming to these events. And I said, I know I can make this happen. But and then as I was working on it, it was just kind of one of those things where things just started to unfold. It was like, I started to say to myself, how can I make this something grander? How can I touch more people outside of a podcast? And also, how can I do it in a way where I really feel passionate about? So I want people, I think every time I speak with an individual, they see that authentic passion because it's true, it's there. And at that time, I wasn't really passionate about a podcast. So it's like, I had the um I was fortunate to be in a career that I was good at and I also really loved. Um, so for me, I said, I'm retired and I want to do something else that, again, I'm going to love. Because if I love it, if I'm passionate about it, then I can get other people to, just based off of that energy, bring that same kind of energy in. So I was just like, how can I do this? And it's so crazy because there was conversations that I was having where, other individuals who are in the industry, and they just kept poking, like, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? And it never been a thought. Honestly, creating a cigar brand wasn't a thought to me. And they're just like, when you're going to do this? When you're going to do this? They're like, you're one of the few females who actually know what you're doing, who actually understand the cultivating process and want to get their hands dirty and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't, think that's where I want to go. But it all came to a head. And it was like kind of like light bulb went off and I just felt ready. I felt as if, what, the cigars could tell the story. They can create the space. They can be, what cultivates, the connection, with multiple people, right? Because what do? We sit down, we herf and connect. Then we talk, we have conversations, we share ideas. We put talk into action. So this is for me, what is it that I really wanted to do? Put talks into action. And I found that, again, cigars were the easiest way to do that. I mean, it's not easy to create a cigar. Now, I want that to be known. It's not easy, but I think once all that is said and done and the hard work is, once you put in all the hard work and you come up with a beautiful product, now it becomes easier. So and then, yeah, so for me it was just really that everything that I've done up to this point has been, it started off with understanding what my vision and what my mission is, what my purpose for this is. And then just each step that I've taken, it just has brought me to another level. and it brought me to another space of wanting to do more. Like, and it's just been really organic. Where I'm at now, I didn't plan that's how it's going to be almost 2 years ago. I didn't plan that, so hey, hey. So yeah, it wasn't planned. I knew I have a broad spectrum of where is it that I want to be, and all the steps in between just have been unfolding organically. So it just makes sense. I get to this space and I'm saying, okay, this is where we at. So it's just a constant reassessment of where we at, as a company, and where I'm at as an individual. So it's just understanding what my limitations are and what I can do with what I have. How I can. I'm Puerto Rican. I grew up very humble beginnings. We understand how to make more with less. So it's that. What can I do at the best of my capabilities right now? And that's how we move forward. And that's how. And I'm a little bit clearer with where I want to take Sticks and Stones onto the future. I'm much clearer now, and that's just because all the dominoes kind of are stacked up. You know, so yeah, so that's in a
Everything is
nutshell,
falling in line for you. I think
pretty much.
watch the last year, watching from where your brand really sat to start the year to where it ended the year at. Like it was whatever could go right was going right, or at least the appearance that was put out there.
Yeah.
The way that your brand grew, the where you were, events you were going to, events that you were attending, the interviews that you were going on, the accolades that you received. It was just, everything was just kind of set up perfect for you. That I think that you succeeded uh, very fast in a very hard lane to succeed in, and I
Thank
give
you. Thank you.
I give you a lot of props for that, because
Thank you.
a lot of brands that I've talked to, that I've been big on and huge on, those dominoes fell, but not in the order that they needed them to. Yours, it was just like step one to step, domino A to domino Z was all in line perfectly for you. And I think that doesn't happen for everybody, but it happened for you, and I'm glad it happened for you.
Thank you. I'm fully aware. And I just always say I'm just really blessed. We were very lucky right out the gate. And I don't want to say luck. I think it's just blessed. We were blessed because, worked I've worked for a long time to forge relationships and maintain those relationships. Everything about this business starts off with the relationships that you developed. And having built plenty of relationships, supporting other individuals, patronizing, just, showing up my authentic self and really wanting to see people win, and doing my part, um, whether it was minuscule or grand, but um, I was given that back in return. So that's what contributed to our rapid success in the beginning, was because, so many people were just on board to support me. So for me, and many of those became my partnering retailers. you know like I said, I'm behind the scenes kind of a person. I'm like, I'm here but I'm in the background, which I really prefer to be. But the fact was, I was there, and I given a lot of support, and it just was a blessing to really receive that back in return. Hey, Cigar Queen, that's one of our Stixxx Stones. Chicas, hey, how are you, Mama? I miss you. Can't wait to see you next month. Um, but yeah, I think everything has been very strategic. I'm a really strategic person. So for me, it's been, the dominoes lined up, but I also worked for those dominoes to line up.
Sure.
And there have been things behind the scenes, kind of what they say, like bloopers, right? But you know what? I come from a background where I'm not, I don't get rattled easily, so it's one of those things where I've learned how to, you know, adjust and pivot and, just kind of, say, how am I going to figure this out? Because there's a plan. So just because now my plan is, has to be redirected, you have a destination, right? What does GPS does? It redirects you, right? To get to that same destination. And that's sort of how I think about things. It's not going to stop my destination if something, comes along my path that makes things a little bit difficult, or maybe I have to take another route. I'm always focused on where I'm going. And a lot of times that takes the help of others. It takes, understanding and trusting your process, and those that you have around you that you trust. So I have that. I have mentors. I have, a really close team that, is there for me when I need them. Um, so it's a team effort. It's just not me. Yes, you see me, I'm the face, but it really is a team effort, and I love them all for it. And I've learned so much, so it's just been great having them. It really has been.
I think that your background in law enforcement has one kept helped keep you cool and level. So when you did face any adversities or something popped up, you were able to stay calm. And of course, that tunnel vision where that focus is set upon to where you're like, okay, we got this problem. Let's focus. Let's realign our center here. Where do we need to go? And I think that that's a bonus that a lot of people tend to fail at when they hit those types of issues or problems that occur, especially starting something brand spanking new out there, is that they don't have that level headedness. They don't have that ability to adapt or change or to redirect themselves to where they need to go. So, I think that your law enforcement background helps you in that way far more.
For sure. For sure.
Oh,
For
here he
sure.
is. Here is the man who made all of this happen.
Hey, CK, how are
CK.
you?
Yes.
Much
Yes, yes.
love, love, much love. Yes. Hi, CK, how are you? You are
So
missed.
I so now let's get into the creation of the cigar. So
Yeah.
how did you come to the conclusion of where to take your business to have your cigars manufactured, and then the process behind the manufacturing? How did that process work? Because that's a tough uh that's very tough to one, pick a manufacturer, and two, pick an honest manufacturer.
Right. So again, I was blessed. So one of my mentors, Felix Perez, owner of Harlem Cigar Room, co-owner of Harlem Cigar Room, and now owner of Harlem Cigar in Atlanta. Um, Harlem Cigar Room was my cigar home in New York, out in Harlem. And I've known him for years, and he was the individual who kept poking, yeah, but very gently. And when I came to him and I said, and so, he is a proprietor, a creator of Harlem Cigar Distribution. And he's been in the industry for over 2 decades. And I always trust his insight. So he's worked with a manufacturer for, he had worked with a manufacturer, was beginning a relationship with a manufacturer, and I trust him because I knew him. And we had developed a friendship. Um, And I asked them, I just said, and this was me, going through my process podcast, blah, blah, blah. And I just was at the lounge and he was there. And I said, hey, what do you think about, and this is exactly how it went. I said, hey, what do you think about me creating my own line? And he said, well, it's about effing time. He said, I've been waiting for you to come to me. And, and I just gave him, a smirk and a giggle. And I said, well, and he was like, and he said, well, what are you thinking? And I told him my thoughts. And he says, when do you want to do it? I said, now. And he was like, that's what I love to hear. He said, that's what I love about you. And I just told him, I said, it's something that I've been thinking over. At that point, I was, mulling over the thought for like a few weeks, but I wanted to make sure that I was ready because I understand the semantics of it all. I understand how invested I had to become. And, I don't like to fail. I understand failure happens and you grow from failure, but I don't like to fail. And especially because there's this vision that's behind it. And it's not just about making a great cigar, it's about really creating that all inclusivity and that space that's so important to me. So, here, we work with the Gomez Lopez Factoria, which we have become family. And they're just wonderful people. This is 50 years of experience in the business. Their factory has been sitting in the same location since 1978. And this is a real family, factory. And they work on many boutique brands. As up to now, when we first started, it has grown also very quickly. But when we first started, it was just a few boutique brands, and the way that I decided upon him was he came at another time to the lounge for an event, and he was there to roll cigars, and we met face to face for the first time. And I asked him a few questions, and he's really nice. Only speaks predominantly Spanish, but the one thing that I asked him was a loyalty-based question, right? Because my background, you gotta trust who you work with.
Yes.
It's a matter of whether you come home or not. So for me, loyalty is huge. Integrity, good character is huge. And so I asked him a question that involved, Felix Perides, and he was just like, without hesitation, he's like, no, I can't do that. I can't. I have to speak with Felix first because we work together. This is going to be all of us working together. And I just looked at him and I gave a short laugh again. And I said, thank you. I said, thank you. And he never told him. He never told him what I asked him. But that same night, I called Felix and I said, hey, I said, I'm ready. I said, I want to work with him. I said, I want to work with him. And he said, okay, great. And no, it wasn't that same night. It was a few nights later. And I told him, I said, I asked him this. And this is the reason why I want to work with him. I already know he's good. He's amazing. I already know what he can help me produce. That's a given already. It's, can I trust him? Because now I'm building a legacy that he's going to be a part of. Can I trust him? And the answer is yes. And I told him what I said, and he said, he never told me. He didn't tell me that's what happened. And that made me even like him more. That made me like him even more. So, that's how it, in a nutshell, I already knew about him. I already knew what he produced, what he could produce. I already, did my homework. Was given, substantial information. I already understood all that. So that wasn't in question. What was in question was, is this someone that I could get into a collaboration with? Can we co-collaborate and build? And you know what? We have. And they call me the queen of they call me the queen of the tabacaria. They call me the face of it. And I think it's because they generally just see the person that I am, and I never look at it as it's just me. I look at it, it's us. Like, how can we continue to create and build so that we each, we can grow together, and we can each as individuals, as separate entities, also grow and become successful. And that's the path that we have been on, so yeah.
So, did you give him an idea of what you're looking for blending wise, or did you put your hand on
100%.
the blend? Okay.
I both, both, absolutely. I mean, I kid you not. I have videos. Like, I took video of. So okay. So basically, I was in DR. I was like, let me see. I want to see the different tobaccos. I want to see what's going to work. I need to physically be present, physically touching and seeing, and what is it that I want, and how much legato is gonna go in there, how much seco we're gonna have, and just legitly it started off 10, 10, one blend and 10 variations of it.
That's how it usually ends up going.
Right,
When you're
right.
working on it's like it gets to the point where you start liking every variation that you come up with, and you're like, I got to narrow this down, and it becomes one of those impossible feats that you don't feel you can do, but eventually it all comes together.
It really did, and I had an idea, and Felix also helped me hone into it. So he had an idea of adding a specific spice to a blend, and I was just like, when he gave me the idea, he said, I want to add, what do you think if we add, cinnamon? And I was just like, I quickly, it clicked instantly, because not only did it work with the tobacco itself and the blend and how it would enhance it, it was during a time where I knew when I wanted to release the blends. And we're talking about around the holidays. And now I nerd out too. So I'm thinking to myself, when it's the holidays, what do people start thinking about? What are they getting their palate ready for? What, your whole mental shifts, right? People start shifting, and your palate shifts. So it's like, have you ever picked something up thinking, right? You're thinking that it's one thing, but you're drinking something else. So it's like, when you go and drink it, you're almost thinking you're drinking something. It's like your mind, it's like that connection that you make, right? So it's like the mental connection you make with your palate. So that happens a lot during, the holidays. So when I, introduced the brands, it was October, soon we have Thanksgiving, all that good stuff. And I was like, what a lovely spice to become an additive to this blend. And we just played around with it. I played around with several. My kitchen it looked like an experiment. And I lived in a brownstone. Everybody knows about brownstones, a gorgeous flat in Manhattan. Anybody knows the kitchen is not that big for you to be doing all these experiments with. But you know what? I just played around with a lot of different ideas. I had different tobacco, um, just different variations, and I just played around with different ideas with the spices, and just pretty much see where they were going to be at different timelines. I couldn't be back and forth. I went to DR. I did everything that I needed to do, and I said, okay, I have to take everything back, and now let's experiment, right? And that's what I did. I just had, as I said, different tobacco, different variations, different spices, different timelines, what tastes better when and with what and how. And at some point, I received the one blend in 10 variations, rolled up, neatly packaged, and it was getting to the time where I was like, okay, I gotta make a decision. Like, where are we going with this? I gotta make a decision. And literally, my significant other and I, Hector, we just sat, and we started smoking. We smoked so much that we got smoke sick. And we just started smoking. We started going through the process, and we started rating. We started, taking down notes and seeing, and yeah, that was the process. Honestly, that's how it was. And just what really resonated, um, and what really, they were all good 10 different variations. But at the end of the day, it came down to what truly resonated to what I wanted the cigars to say. They are the two that will be introducing Stixxx Stone cigar. What did I want them to say to the people? And yeah, that's how we came up with that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cigar Tobacco. Thank you.
Yeah, I was blown away with the Mi Gente. Like,
Thank
again,
you.
I tried to go in with no preconceived thoughts, just a clear head to try. But when CK sends me stuff to try, I know that I got to put it at the top of my list, because if he's big on it, then I have a feeling I am, and I fell in love. Like, the
Thank you.
that blend just, I was three puffs in, and I already said this cigar is a top 10 cigar, and that was in
Oh
January.
my God. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you.
I, you
That
know,
means a lot to me.
I
Thank
I sat
you.
there, and I was probably 10 puffs in, and I had to pull out the bucket. I had to. It automatically got the highest honor I can bestow upon a cigar.
Oh, that means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank
And,
you. Like I said, yeah, that means a lot to me. Thank
and of
you.
course, the Mi Gente was in my top 10 for 2024. It
Yes.
was that good of a cigar. It was a continual rebuy for me, because I'm like, it's good. People need to enjoy this cigar, and I think Mi
Thank
Gente did a
you.
good job. And of course, I'm a barber pole whore, so you know.
I love that, Barbara. You need a t-shirt. You need a t-shirt that says Barbara Poe.
Yeah, I'm a barber pole whore, and of course, you manufacture one that is a constant rotation within my cigar.
Oh man, I really appreciate that. And like, we briefly spoke before we came on, and I, expressed to you how, hearing that from you is an honor, because I consider you to be an expert. And we spoke about how you nerd out. I call you the cigar encyclopedia, honestly. And for me, that's what makes you an expert. Someone who is truly passionate and digs all the way in and learns as much as they possibly can learn and continue to learn. Not everybody who's certified is necessarily an expert. Kudos to you. And I'm sure there are several people who truly are experts who are certified, but I think there's too many people who are on this stage who do not get the proper recognition that they deserve. And yeah, so kudos to you. Thank you. So it does mean a lot coming from you. It means a lot coming from many people, just like CK. CK is he's a curator of, you know, bringing small brands into the open and highlighting them, allowing them to have a space. That's huge. Any retailer that allows a space in their shop for your cigars to be featured is huge. It is a very big deal. And I don't think a lot of people understand how big that is, because you can receive a lot of no's before you get a yes.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that you are a boutique brand, so there's many people who are in this industry who still don't feel as if boutique brands deserve a space in it. That's
And I
just
think that's
the
the bonus
truth.
of CK's shop, is that he's been out there for years showcasing these
Yeah.
brands who get told no all the time, and they just need a shot because they manufacture such great cigars, but nobody wants to give them a shot, a chance. And
Hmm.
he's that guy. I mean, he's like, yeah, let's do it, and
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and everything flies off his shelves. He just
It
knows,
really does.
has that knack of picking these brands.
He really does. And you know what? He said that's the only barber pole cigar he loves. And that's true, because he tells me that all the time. So, I mean, when we met in Queens at a mutual friends event. DJ Nino Brown, who, we work and collaborate together quite often. And, I hadn't even put the cigars out yet. He was just seeing the process. I was just documenting the process and sharing it, and not even on a grand level, but he just believed in what I was doing. And he came up to me, he's introduced himself, he said, "Hey, I'm CK," but we briefly, correspond through social media. And he says, "Yeah, I wanna bring your cigars in the shop." He hasn't even tasted them yet. They could have been crap. But he believed in me. And you know what? And that's why I love him. That's why I truly adore him and I love him. Because when you do have people who believe in what you're doing, it's much respect. There's nothing else for you to be but humble by it and grateful by it. So it really was, it just really was a beautiful start, that just really created the continuous momentum of how I began to grow, on the East. So it was nice. So love you, CK.
And then we have from Rockstar, who wanted to give you a shout out for coming to Dallas for the women's event that you did out there. So there
Hey,
you
hey, fly guy. How are you? How are you, Mr. Rockstar? He's always so fashionable. I always
I
love what he's
know.
wearing.
To Miss
Yes.
Leticia there. She drooled over your cigar too, and she's so glad she got to meet you in Dallas for that same event.
Yes, I met so many wonderful people. I told Edwina, the owner of
Blowing.
Blowing Cigar Lounge. Yes, Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge. And we also could be found there too. She is our newest partnering retailer as well. So shout out Edwina. So yeah, I told her, I said, it really felt all the love and the support from all the women and men who came. It just really made me feel like I was back at home in New York. How, we have our events, and, we always have our consistent supporters that always come out in New York. So it was that level, and it just felt really nice because, I've been here in Houston and in Texas for almost 8 months now. And, I was really missing that. I was missing having, just being around people who really understand what you're wanting to do, you know. So shout out to you guys. Thank you.
And of course, Eduardo here. All these great comments about it. Where can I find some? Well, I can tell you two places that you can order and pick them up online. They're getyourcigars.com. They're CK Cigars at Sunrise. He does carry these. And of course, you can get from Black Box Cigar Club as well. And
Yes.
are you in the Philly area?
Not yet. Not yet. I am in the Pennsylvania area though. There's a really great lounge called IQ Lounge, and they have their own cigar brand too, which is Redbone Cigars, which they're really lovely cigars also. Shout out to them. Shout out to Q and his wife Cardelia, who are the owners, and they do carry our cigars there in Pennsylvania. And you can also go on our website, and we also, you know, direct message. I do it all kinds of ways. There's all kinds of ways to find me and how you could purchase these cigars. But yeah, whichever avenue you choose to take, you're truly supporting me. You're supporting them. I mean, it's you're supporting all of us. So either whichever way you choose to purchase the cigars, thank you. I appreciate you. One way or the other, it's a team effort at the end of the day. It's a team effort. You buy out from CK, all he's gonna do is just call me up and say, "Hey Wanda, I need more cigars." So I have the website. However you choose to purchase it, it's all good at the end of the day.
Well, thank you, CK, for your kind words. Look, I'm just a dope who enjoys smoking and talking tobacco. That's really all I am, and I appreciate your kind
Mm-mm.
words. That they me that's very nice. I'm just look. I'm just out here trying to find the next bangers, the unknowns, the gems in the rough. I'm trying to get all of you who are watching to go to the back of the humidor at your local shop and to go uh, go out of your comfort zone and pick up a brand you've never heard of
Right.
before and try it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
never know. Put your blinders on. Ignore the big fancy displays and all the other crap in there, and just go to the
Right.
back and look and go. I've never heard of this brand before, and pick it up and try it. That's all.
Right.
That's
And
all I want you to
y-
do.
100%. Listen, I've met so many people in this industry who are boutique brands and some who are not even recognized, and they have great cigars. I trade all the time. Like, hey, how can I get your cigars? And I'm like, well, I'll send you. Send me yours. I'll send you. We trade. I'm like I want to try your cigars too. And it's just one of those things where it's so many people out here who have such, a good product. And, you can't be afraid to come out of the mainstream. The mainstream is great. It gives us a footprint. It set a standard, that we should all have, but it's not the end of all. It's not the all to be of all. There's so many out there. And please, leave your bias at home. Don't pick up a boutique brand and ask why. Where's the camera? Here it goes. And don't ask why it costs what it does. It costs what it does because we get no special privileges from being a small company. We are a boutique brand. It doesn't mean that the quality is less. That just means we manufacture less. And there are times where our cost is more. When you it's simple math, right? It's demand and supply. And it's if you have, enough supply for the demand, then you can manufacture at a lesser cost, right? Because you have a manufacturer you're working with, you have someone that you're packaging with, you have the logistics of shipping, you have all these little nuances that people don't realize, right? So for a boutique brand, sometimes we have to bear more of a cost because we manufacture less, because we are a smaller brand. It doesn't mean that we lack a premium cigar, premium tobacco. It doesn't mean that we lack high
I can
quality.
In most cases, the quality of the tobacco you're using is of higher quality than what the big brands are because they have to mass
Yes.
produce, and because you're not mass producing, you're getting your hands on better quality tobacco, so you're putting out a
Correct.
much more superior product than what you're getting with your big brand, your
Yes.
heritage and legacy brands because
Yeah.
they're all about just cranking them out. They're not actually about the quality that you get out of it. And
Correct.
before we go any further, CK just is dropping a special for anybody who wants to pick up any of these
Yay.
Stixx and Stones. If you go to getyourscigars.com and you buy a 5-pack of Stixx and Stones, you'll get free shipping, and he'll also send you a 5-pack of the Get Your Cigar House Blend, which are bangers. Bangers.
Yes, one second.
So right there, there's your incentive right there. You're gonna buy a 5-pack, get free shipping, and a free 5-pack of the Get Your Cigar House Blend. Right there. Hey, you can't.
Look at that, guys. You can't beat that. You cannot beat that at all.
You're not beat
You
that.
guys cannot beat that at all. CK is the man. I'm telling you. Get those.
Is the man right there. There you go.
Yes.
Straight from the man himself. So thank you, CK. What a great offer he's throwing out there on that one. Yeah. So all right. Anyway, back. Yes, because your quality of tobaccos, I can taste the difference in tobacco. I've been doing this for so long now, and and that's the one thing I've noticed about more of the smaller brands. The quality of the tobacco is higher grade, higher quality out there. And I've smoked stuff that is coming out of I've smoked stuff that has come out of factories, big brand factories that make their mass produce their brands.
Mm-hmm.
And the quality of tobacco that the smaller brands are getting from the big brand is extremely higher because again, they're all about quantity, not quality.
Right. And when you have um I've been very fortunate. As I said, I have mentors who have taught me about the cultivation process and the agricultural aspect and process of growing tobacco, and actually having been in the fields and looking, being there practically, and doing what is necessary to make sure that your tobacco is where you want it to be at, and having the quality. So you are able to give more attention to the tobacco that you're cultivating, that you're growing, and being able to go through the process more gingerly, to make sure that you have the consistency of quality. So I think those are such the great benefits of it. And we are constantly doing a quality check. I mean, constantly. I mean, I gotta tell you, I know Felix, I get on his nerves sometimes because he acts as my he acts as my middleman at times when I'm not able to go to DR, or there is an issue, or there's something that's going on. And so I'm just like, hey, like, what's going on with this batch? Something's different. It's off. I know this is off. We got to fix this. So these are all the things that are behind the scene, because things are not always perfect. And then we troubleshoot the situation, the problem, we work on it. So the level of attention that we give to our brand is very acute. It's just, it, from everything, from the packaging to the labels. Like, I just changed my labels. They were slightly getting bended on the side, the name here, the name bands, when they were being put into the cellophane. And you know what? There's really nothing you could do about that, because things are going, it just is what it is. So I'm like, we need to change this. Let's troubleshoot this. How are we gonna fix this problem? Because I don't want to look at this. I don't want to see that. Are we at the right humidification? Are we, all these little nuances that you have to go through to ensure that you maintain the consistency, the quality of your cigars can be tedious. But you can do this when you are a boutique brand. You should do this. You should be doing it.
And
You should. Go ahead. I'm
they
sorry.
should. Well, yes, it is something that should be done, and I think that that is one thing that stands out with the smaller brands is that their the QA and QC is phenomenal because I get a consistent smoke almost every time from every small brand that I'm
Yeah.
big on because they make sure about it. And if I ever have a problem, you guys are always right on it. You don't ignore a message when I say, "Look at what happened to this cigar." You're on it because that's a reflection on you, your brand, on the
Correct.
manufacturer. When that happens,
Yeah.
I think that you have much higher standards than the other than bigger brands do.
You have to be. Yeah. No. You have to be. I look, my cigars are an extension of who I am, right? As I said, I'm an Afro Latina cigar brand owner. That's a whole lot. So it's just one of those things where it's an extension of who I am. So if I'm putting out something that's subpar, I'm saying we're subpar. I'm saying that I don't care about producing something of quality to share with my community, with mi gente, with my people.
Yeah,
And that's unacceptable. And, I think this is a business when you get into it, you should really fully understand um, all the nuances, all the technicalities, everything that has to go along with it. Some people, you have some who, you know, um, are part of the labeling, just having a cigar and throwing the label on it. And that's okay if that's what you want to do, right? But I think there's a process. I think there's several processes that are skipped when you do that. How fully invested can you really be? How can you how can you authentically really um, produce and share these beautiful, just these beautiful cigars, and share them with, the cigar community or aficionados and cigar enthusiasts. How can you do that in an authentic way when you have skipped so many of the steps to create, in creating this?
and but those brands don't last long because it shows, and that they
Correct.
they're gone out there. But we had a nice comment here that your words were inspirational to a new boutique
Oh,
owner
thank you.
like Uche himself and his brand Tribal Trilogy out there.
I've seen you guys. I've definitely seen you guys. I hope to try your cigars soon, and all the best to you guys.
they're good bangers, bangers
I believe you. If you're saying it, I believe you. I believe you.
out there. Yeah,
Truly.
yeah, and those brands don't last long, and they're fairly easy to spot when somebody's buying bundles or seconds and slapping their own band on it, trying to pass it off as their own. And
Hmm.
eventually, it all comes out, and it comes to a head there that there's no authenticity to it. And I think that's the one thing that some of the, especially especially these small brands that have been around since 20 that in this new kind of small brand revolution from 2018 2019 to now is that the brands that are still there are because of the quality and the love and the heart that they put in the authenticity of
Hmm.
what they do and I think it
For
shows
sure.
where a
Yeah,
lot
for
of brands
sure.
that don't have that, they're gone. They're gone because if you don't have that authenticity, you can't. It shows in everything that you do. And I get hit up
Right.
by 10 brands a day who want to come on one of the shows on there, and I ask 3 questions, and if they can't answer those 3 questions, then I got no reason to have them on because there's no authenticity in it. And it's not like I'm asking you for the secret sauce to what makes the blend, but I ask very specific questions, and if you can't answer them, then I don't. Then I no, I'm not going to bring you on the show. I'm not going to
Right.
promote your brand because you're lacking something.
Yeah. Well, they're lacking the knowledge and the experience and the work that goes into it. That I believe solely that's what they're lacking. So it's pretty much buying something off the rack and slapping your name on it, a label, and saying you made this. Well, what material did you use? Right? These are the little nuances, the little things that a true designer, a seamstress, will know, right? So these are the things that you don't know when you're just slapping a label on.
I I
And
do
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I do my research on all this because if I ask you questions, who makes your cigar, and you tell me, I know a lot of these manufacturers, especially the small ones. I'm gonna make a phone call and verify that it's correct on it because I've had a few when I've made the phone call and they go, yeah, 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 we did, but he bought 10 bundles of seconds or rejects off of me. Oh, so they're not even real blend. Okay, that's
They're
what
not
I
even
do.
right.
Yeah,
They're the shop floor leftovers.
exactly. And I'm like, okay, on that, or I've never heard of that person. Nah, I've never heard of them before. Or yeah, he did, and he owes me $6,000 for his cigars.
Oh
And
my God. I
I go,
listen,
I,
we've experienced that as well. I mean, no, like honestly, like I've I've sat in the factory's office, and we had the conversation of people coming in and they're saying, yeah, I want to do a cigar, this, that, and the third. And just when the realities of what it's going to cost for you to really create a brand, you have people saying, yep, they started, but now they have a deficit of X amount of dollars. You hear it a lot. And I think people, sometimes they're really gun ho, and without really understanding, what is it going to take to really get this off the ground and really
it's
do it.
good in your head. It makes sense in your head,
Right.
but when you add in creating the business, getting all your licensing, are you gonna import your own stuff in, or is the manufacturer gonna do it? Well, the cost involved, that they okay. So the cigars are the relatively cheap part, but the taxes and the
Right.
taxes,
Now we got tariffs.
the tariff, all that that's where that hey, you still owe me 6 grand for cigars. That's
Right.
all part of the feel there.
Right.
And if
Right.
it's a great
Right.
idea until it actually becomes a reality, and then you realize that you got in over your head.
And you know what? I have a catchphrase. I have a trademark phrase that says, "It's not a game; it's a lifestyle." And that's the reason why I came up with that, because it truly isn't a game. It becomes your life. This is your life. You're growing an entity, right? That involves so many different components and so many different people. And if you're here to play, you're going to lose very quickly. You're not going to succeed in this because you have to be accountable for everything that you're going to do. You are where it begins and you are where it ends. And everyone in between is just a little stepping stone to help you get to where you need to go. So for me, that phrase came out of that, is understanding that you have to really be serious and true and diligent, into creating a brand. And you also have to honor the people and trust the people that you're working with, because you're not out here doing it alone. And I say it all the time. I may be the face, I am the CEO. I make the last decisions. However, I do take direction and heed to those who I trust and who are a part of my success thus far, because I don't know everything and I don't pretend to. I use what I know to continue to build on it, to continue to grow my knowledge. However, there are times where I do have to lean towards my mentor, toward my master blender, my distributor, who is Felix Benitez as well too, because these are individuals who understand the certain nuances that I once didn't, and who taught me, and not just say, "Oh, yeah, you got to do this." No, actually taught me, because I was diligent in learning. I was saying, no, I need to sit down with you. I need you to practically show me. To I need my hands in the ground. I need to understand. I want to know what you know. And when you show that level of respect, that level of passion, and that drive, there are so many intelligible individuals that are in this industry who will be willing to give you their time.
Yes, there's a lot, and I think on a lot of ends, we all want to help and see each other grow out there. One a brand that I really like was having issues getting their package in from the Dominican, and I got them hooked up with a manufacturer that I knew out of Miami, who drove down to customs to basically bail out their cigars that were gonna get rejected and sent back to the DR, because something was not checked right on the customs form, and
Yeah,
basically it was going to cause $10,000 worth of product to go bye bye, and
right, right.
stuff that they already paid for that was sitting there. All the taxes have been paid. The manufacturer was paid. It was just like you got limited amount of days to get your stuff out of customs jail before it goes bye bye. And
No,
I said,
100. Yeah,
call him and see if he can help you. And he went and did it. And then he's like, yeah, you don't need to. You don't need to pay me for it. I'm as happy to help you get him out, because he deals with that stuff every single day with customs.
and he
He knew what he needed
understands.
to be
Yeah,
doing. And he
right.
wanted to
And
help them
yeah,
out.
a
And
hundred
then,
percent.
and then they ended up going and manufacturing with him because of the help. So it ended
And
up
because
becoming
that relationship, right? And that was the beginning of forging a beautiful relationship. I'm sure, someone who, out of his own kindness, wanted to just give a helping hand, and that's how it starts. I mean, listen, I could talk about customs. Sheesh, like, listen, there was a situation where this happened. I was still in New York, and cigars, and I wasn't the only one that was hit by it. So, collectively, to combat the cost, you know, there's a few of us that collectively bring in our cigars together, right? So, and this is part of the relationships that you develop, right? Because we are smaller brands. But unfortunately, you know, our cigars got sat out in horrible heat, and they were just sitting there, and just they weren't moving. And unfortunately, customs had illegal contraband, and we became collateral damage, right? Mine was in the thousands, but not in the high, low, but still significant for a small brand that's starting out. Someone else's was like 40,000 worth, and these of product that just was damaged, not usable, unusable. But you know what? I've been blessed to be in a unique position where, I've been given the opportunity to really be a part of the manufacturing process with our manufacturer and our distributor. So I was able to replenish those damaged cigars without the extra cost, which I felt like, yeah, my heart was back in my chest. I had all these orders I had to fill. I had no tangible cigars. It just was a mess. And these are the things that when you're in it, when you're truly in it, this is part of what happens, when you are a part of every aspect of the expansion and the growth of your cigar brand. These are the things that you learn and you start to understand, and these are the things that you can share and relate and talk about. When you're not truly in it and you skip all these steps, you don't know.
Yeah.
You can't even be a part of the conversation, to be honest, because you don't know, you're limited. So even though I went through that momentary um, stress, I was able to rely on my team. I was able to rely on, those that I trusted and that I worked so close with, um, to recoup and make this happen. So that's all a part of building a business. Yeah.
If you want to know how good this cigar is, I've almost smoked it down to nothing, just so you all can see that. It's
Oh my God, that's great.
that's how delicious her sticks are. If you don't believe
Oh
it,
man, thank you so
like
much.
I don't want it to end. I
Oh,
am
don't
gonna.
worry. I'll send
I'm,
you some more. I'll send you some sticks. Just send me your mailing address. I'll send you some more. I'll be happy to.
you're gonna be down in New Orleans for PCA.
I am going to actually be there during the time of PCA, but um I have decided, and well, I was so graciously asked by Ray to be a part of the NOLA Cigar Fest. So I, as a sponsorship, give out some wonderful, some nice, robustos, and we will be there vending as well and partaking in the NOLA Cigar Festival. But yes, I will be, in the vicinity of, I will be there. And the actual PCA this year, no, I wouldn't be. I think the PCA is wonderful. I think it's the granddaddy of them all. But I just felt like being asked to be a part of something that just felt closer to home to me, because this is a space that allows other small boutique brands to come into who may not necessarily be able to showcase their cigars at the PCA. Because what a lot of people don't understand, that it does have a hefty price tag for some individuals, um,
Yeah,
to showcase their cigars at the PCA. I mean, it's a wonderful convention. It's a wonderful opportunity. But if you're not, financially in that space to create an installation, to be there to showcase the cigar, it can be a little bit difficult. So I felt strongly about the no, being asked to be a part of the NOLA Cigar Festival, because I think it's a great space for everyone to be able to come together, kind of like on an equal playing field, and be able to be part of a space that allows a brand like myself or many other brands like Sassy Soul Cigars. Shout out to you, honey, who will be there. But other several cigar brands who will be present there, um, to be able to spread their love and their cultivations with everyone else. So for me, this year that kind of felt important. It really, I think, how everything has been going for Sticks and Stones, I think it was something that kind of was like a period for me.
sure.
So yeah, so I will be in New Orleans, yes. And if you guys are out there come through. It's all the events at NOLA Cigar Festival is open to, everyone who's attending the PCA as well. So the more the merrier. But I'll be making my rounds. I'll be there with plenty of samples. Anybody, plenty of cigars to purchase too. So hey, this is a business, guys. At the end of the day, it's still a business. So feel free to buy these boxes, buy these packs. But yeah, I will also be, having some samples as well. Sharing is caring. But I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to try and swing by a few of the NOLA Cigar Fest events while I'm down there and try and
Sounds good.
get in on it. But I do understand about PCA. And for a small brand, it is a huge expense to get involved with because you have to realize that at least for the first year, you're going to take a major loss and a major hit financially between purchasing of your spot and then the amount of product you're going to have that you have to eat in samples to everybody coming potential to maybe get one or two accounts, where you're watching basically I'm taking a $10,000 to $12,000 hit to make $200.
For sure. I mean, and the trade-off is that you get an exposure, right? You get just your cigars out there to individuals who may not know anything about it. I feel as if, right now I had to make a choice. I am currently in the development of my third blend. And because she is so special and she is just going to have something that no one has at all. And as it unfolds and develops, I will share more during time. But because I made such a grand investment in making sure that my tobacco, at least for the next 3 years, has this level of consistency, that took a huge monetary investment.
Sure.
And to ensure that the land that my tobacco grows on continues to remain fruitful and continues to produce this high quality of tobacco that we have, it took a huge investment. And for me, that was more important because hearing you and other individuals such as yourself, when they can see the investment and the dedication, the work that I put into it, to me, that's more important. I think when you have a really great product and, you're moving towards a direction that's authentic and you're just working hard, everything's going to happen in due time. Where you need to be is going to happen in due time. And I'm a firm believer in, getting things done and getting it done right the first time so that I don't have to keep doing it over and over again. So I'm one to really take my time on things and just to make sure that it's done right. And, I was happy, but I'm really happy about my decision. And like I said, being a part of the NOLA Cigar Festival, I think it just hit home for me. It just was one of those things where, what are we about? We're about the inclusivity, right? And sometimes a grand stage is not always inclusive to all. And I don't mind. My goal is for Stixxx and Stones to become a big fish and maybe in a river. I don't have to be I don't have to be like the whale of the ocean. I'm okay with that. It's not something that I aspire to do. I like the direction where we're going.
Out here in the West, they have what's called gold medal waters, where it's some of the best fish that you'll ever catch, and they're very limited in a certain area, and that's you. You're the fish in gold.
Oh, I love that. Love that. I love that. Right. I love that. Because, I think that quality is really important. and continue to produce something that is of high quality and standard is overall more important to me than for us to become another Arturo Fuentes. I mean, who can really become another Arturo Fuentes, right? That's like the grandfather, the godfather um, of it all. But that's where he's at. That's his space, I'm grateful for it because I too have learned from just watching or conversations or just being in a space. Um, but yeah, I like where we're going. I feel very confident and proud of where we at and where we're going. So yeah,
Yes,
he is
Chevalier.
so smooth.
I am
That's
so.
his bro. That's his bro crush.
I love Chevalier.
He
And
really is.
he's such
Yeah,
a
he's a great guy. He
he's such
really is. He really is. Chevalier is such a sweetheart. He's a good person. I think everybody that I know who has come on here, I know them on a personal level, and they're just really good people. Yeah, they're really good people. So it's just yeah. I mean, what do we want to do next? We want to continue to expand and grow and be
so
able to continue to use our
so
cigars as
let me
tools.
ask you this. Now you've already kind of answered it, but I want to get the full answer. Where you're at right now, are you where you thought you would be, not where you thought you'd be, or ahead of schedule?
Um, um, I never really had an expectations of. I never really had a timeline with an expectation. I know where I want to go. I
Okay.
know where I want it to be. It's not there yet, but I have a clear vision and understanding that I know it will be. Um, where I'm at now, no, I didn't think that I'll be here. I mean, we just got featured in Cigar Journal. The first issue of 2025, right before the PCA. And if anybody knows that Cigar Journal is the industry cigar publication, right? It's not so much of your everyday like cigar snob or aficionado where you'll find it more out on retail shops. But it's a publication where people in the industry do pay attention to. So for me, that's an honor. Like it is such an honor to for someone to think that we were that interesting. I was that interesting that they wanted to put me on ink, right? So that was just such a huge honor to be able to be given the opportunity to reach a global audience. And no, so I didn't know. There was no idea of thinking that we would be here just under 2 years where, we are growing steadily. We are, we do have a steady line of success because we are forging such great relationships. We're maintaining, our integrity and our character as far as what we're doing and what we want to do. And, all the individuals that we've been able to collaborate with and, also shine a light onto them as well. If anybody wants to think of me as the underdog that I'm always rooting for the other underdog.
Well, I think one thing that has made your brand better, and this is with a lot of great small brands like yourself, is that you're a consumer first. And
Yeah,
so being that you understand cigars, you enjoy smoking cigars, you're out there buying cigars,
for
that
sure.
puts you in that consumer mindset. So when you're manufacturing something, you're also manufacturing based upon you as a consumer. And I think that gets
Yes.
lost with the big brands because they're not consumers. They get high off of their own
Yeah.
product. Where you're like,
Correct.
I love I love smoking. I love smoking other brands out there. I'm
And
out
I
there.
do.
I'm a
Yeah.
consumer. I'm out there buying. So you're definitely not taken from your own coffer there. You're out there, and I think that's what's made a lot of these smaller brands over the last few years very successful, is that they're coming at it from a consumer mindset.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I think that you have to look at it from a 360 angle, right? From every angle. You just can't say you can't. I have to look at it from an aspect of a manufacturer, a distributor, a consumer, our retailers. So from everything from the cigar to the packaging to the marketing, to the price, right? You have to look at it from all aspects, and that can be difficult because you know you can very quickly get derailed from you can become derailed from the process of making sure that you all around are successful in what you're producing. So I can say I like my cigar all day. Like my third blend, it's great. And I'm not just saying it because it's my blend, but it's great. However, truth be told, and in true transparency, it's not going to be a cigar. It's not going to be my go-to cigar like my Gente, because it's not generally a cigar that my palate really um, is driven to want to smoke. It's a good cigar, it's a great cigar, but I understand that there are many individuals that this cigar people are going to enjoy. It's going to fit their palate. It's something that I have two cigars that are, very flavorful and different in profile, and they fit, a different palate, and ones that I will both truly love to smoke. My third blend, great stick. I enjoy it every time I pick it up to see where is it at, to check it. But I can't say it's going to be my go-to like my Mi Gente, because it doesn't necessarily, like, as I said again, um, fit exactly what I truly enjoy wanting to smoke, because I'm a full body girl. So hint, 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 right? But I have to think on that part as a manufacturer, as a retailer. You just don't narrow your margin because you just like to smoke a particular blend, or particular, different, like a full body, a particular strength of cigar. You don't narrow that. So this is like, I have to put that hat on. What can I create that is very much enjoyable, because I need to enjoy it too, because that's how I'm going to explain to you how great it is, right? But it's not going to be my go-to because it doesn't fit my specific flavor profile of what I really enjoy, which is a really nice full body, right? So yeah, so that's just an example of how you have to look at things with, a 360 lens. You have to understand that this is a business, and you have to also create something you know, that is going to, be a broader, that's going to give more options to all your smokers, right? Because if not, then how are we all inclusive if I don't include the kind of smokers who may not be into full body? So yeah.
And again, the consumer mindset.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're
for
thinking
sure.
like a consumer out there, and that's why I think you're successful, and why I think your brand is
Thank
going to
you.
grow and be huge.
Oh, thank you so much.
I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years if you're like one of those big blow up brands out there that everybody's talking about. Where the one thing I get from people is, have you ever had this brand? I'm like, do you not follow? Have you not followed me for years? I was like I was on the. This happens to me now with Black Star One. Is that they're like, have you ever had Black Star One? But yeah, I said they're going to be the next big blow up
Thank
brand
you.
back in 2020. I said that, and now I see what Eric has done and how he's grown, and that he's on that verge of popping over into that next level.
Yeah, he's on the tipping point.
That's right. And I called that back in 2020 after smoking just one of his sticks. I'm like, dude, these guys, Eric has got it. He understands it. He knows what's going on here. He's going to be that next brand, small brand that blows up. And I can honestly see that in the next 5 years, where it's like people going, have you ever had Stixxx Stones? I'm like, have you not been? I've not been on this brand
right?
2024.
Right. Did you not see the interview? But no, I mean, you're prophesizing right now. So yes, from your mouth to God ears, honey. Thank you. Yes. I listen. Amen to that. You're prophesizing. Yes.
I
I am with that all the way. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
It's not so much that I'm prophesizing. It's just I I see what you have. I see how you are as a person, and all of that to me pinpoints success. That pretty much almost every brand that I've been really high on since 2018, 2019 has all that I said they're going to be ones that take that next step, have taken that next step,
Thank you.
and I think that's that you get that you're on that trajectory, and a lot of that is strictly based upon this last year, 2024. You kind of going from being, well, you're here, you're kind of flat, to by the time the summer ended, you're already at the top. You're already climbed one mountain, and it's like, I
Oh,
don't see
thank
why
you.
this year you're not going to climb another mountain, because you're in demand. I see you promoting events that you're going out to, the cut and lights you're doing, the expansion of your brand, that you've moved south and west in your distribution of where your product is available out there. That within 5 years, why wouldn't 300 shops carry your product? Why wouldn't
Oh man, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that for sure. I mean, it's definitely our goal, and we work really hard over here, and I think the most important is just to continue to to stay authentic and be true. To be true to ourselves, and I'm always, even though I'm always looking at how we can strengthen our brand and expand it, it's never what's really in the forefront. I think that what's really in the forefront is it's always the thought of how can our brand be useful to others, and how can we work together, so that we can all shine and we can all help each other grow. um, for the most part, that's really how my mindset really does work. And that's why, I created, alongside with Veronica Nieves from Day Notice Creations, Smokin Hermanas. That's my longtime bestie. She's my spirit sister. She's my soul sister. We've been friends since we were 13 years old. And we were the ones who were just smoking together. Out of all our friendships, it was her and I. And she has such a great knowledge of cigars, and passion for it. And we briefly spoke about a few years ago wanting to cultivate a space, and we didn't really know what that meant, what that was. But I knew that this was the pivotal moment to do it, because how Sticks and Stones is growing. And how I started it off to begin with, I started it off by telling a story, and also collaborating with others, and also sharing other people's stories. And that's how it starts. So now Smoking Hermanas can just be dedicated to just that. Just as you said in the beginning, giving a space um, to all entrepreneurs, not only to give them a space to shine, but so that they can also share their experiences and their knowledge for whoever is tuning in, for whoever may need that guidance. So it's just creating the space of reciprocal, energy, knowledge, and conversation. And I really hope it grows as well, because it's another tool and another platform, um, for us to shine in other ways, and to do it with other individuals who appreciate that space and who generally want to be able to give to the next person. So yeah.
But you have created that, especially within your own brand, because like you said out there, you wanted to create a space out there for everybody involved, and you have all of your mi gentes out there. You have all of your people, and they all support you, whether it be lifelong friends, new friends, or just members of the cigar community or
Yeah.
entrepreneurial community out there itself. You have your people out there. You've created your own tribe out there of
Thank
people who
you.
feel accepted for whatever it is, whether they're a cigar smoker or not, whether they're a business owner or not. But you've been able to combine those two worlds together, because you know everything is everybody is connected one way or another. That something that an entrepreneur said may connect with somebody who isn't a business person, but they can take that into their life, and
Yeah.
something vice versa out there, that that is sometimes it's just one word or a word of encouragement or something, as something that they went through in their life that helped change them, that could probably help change somebody else who's going through the same thing.
Right. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think, when you have a giving spirit, I'm all about energy, right? So I believe that what you put out there, you're going to get, it's karma, right? You're going to get it back in return. So I believe that when you have a giving spirit, when you generally want to see people win, people who want to do right, not leeches,
Yes.
there's a lot of leeches. But people who generally want to do good and be a part of the vision, right? Like pay it forward. I think all that just comes back, and it has, and I think, like you said, it's growing that tribe and growing that community, and it's also a network, So I don't want anybody to ever think that them putting in time to foster relationships and um, you know, giving without expecting anything return is a waste of time, because it's absolutely not. You
No.
know, I Yeah, it absolutely isn't a waste of time. It's really been a big part of, our growing success.
I
So yeah. Thank you,
I
Eduardo. Thank you for your words. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I every year on my birthday I run my birthday show, and everything that I get sent to me from manufacturers, from cigar companies, from accessory companies, all the money that I make off of monetization and off of my sponsors and advertisers, I invest back in for my birthday show every year, and I give all that stuff away to everybody so they
That's
have the ability to
awesome.
enjoy it. It's only for me, it's a small thing. It's one small thing that I can do as a thank you to everybody who has supported me. Is I'm going to give all this stuff. I don't. It's not that I don't want. I'd love to keep, but I want to give it to the people out there so that they have a chance to enjoy. And
Right.
for some people out there who may be budget limited, winning a box of cigars, You know,
It's a big
it's
deal.
a big deal
Yeah,
for
it's a
them.
big deal.
You know,
Right.
like I tell the brands, I'm like, look, I need X amount of cigars to do whatever it is that I'm doing for them. But I go, if you send me a box, just know I'm going to take what I need and I'm going to give the rest of it away. I'm not going to keep it.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
so every year for my birthday, I have the birthday bash extravaganza, and I give stuff away all stream long. All
I
right,
love that. That's
here's
awesome.
it's like okay, what do we got? Okay, yeah. Well, I got this dual lighter cutter set. All right, we're gonna give that away, and I'll
Mm,
and
yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
love
giving
that.
away. I've got multiple humidors over here that are gonna be given away. There's an electronic humidor I got sitting over here that's gonna be given away to somebody.
That's amazing. I love that. You guys, you better all tune in. Well, I wanted to give a box of Robustos to one of our listeners here. You can ask them any question, and whoever gets it right, you guys get of your choice a box of 10 Robustos for you to enjoy. So,
All right.
yeah, so whatever the question is up to you. Whoever's on here, if you guys been listening, it'll be up to Danielle to ask the question, and then you just guys type in what you guys will like for
Uh,
your prize, and yeah, I'll send it out to you.
a question. Huh.
Of course, it
Huh.
got to be based off the interview.
Okay.
Something based off the. Don't
Okay.
make it too hard.
I'm not gonna make it too hard. I'm not gonna make it too hard. Okay. All right. What was Wanda's profession before getting into the industry?
That's a good
There you go.
question.
First person to answer gets the box. What was Wanda's
Get
profession
the
before?
bug.
Even if you missed it and you came in late, we did bring it back up again, and I did bring it back up as a follow-up question to something she was talking about 30 minutes ago.
Yes, that was a good question. Yes,
So,
that was a good
what
question.
was her profession before getting into the industry?
Chris got
Chris, all
it.
right,
All
Chris.
right, Chris.
Yeah,
Yay.
there you go.
Congratulations.
Chris.
Yes,
Boy, Chris wins.
that's awesome.
Chris wins everything.
It's okay, Chris. I win every raffle too. My friends
He
get
gets
so annoyed with me.
every raffle there. Chris gets. All right, Chris, you are the winner. I have Chris. Chris, I have your address. I will pass that over
Great.
to Wanda.
Yes, please. And just let us know which one would you like. Would you like the Mi Gente or La Cia de Amor, the barber pole or the full body? Just let me know which one you like, and yeah, I'll get that out to
Okay.
you.
So I will. So Chris, I'll share your address with her so she can get that shipped out to you. And there's
Yes,
congratulations, Chris. Yes, he does.
perfect.
Every time I run a raffle, dude, this dude either gets the answer or I go, all right, I wrote down a number, between 1 and 100, and he's like either one number before it or guesses the actual number.
Yeah, I win a lot. This past weekend I won a raffle. However, I had my girlfriend. We was at Puffin Dutchess Women's conference that Stixxx Stones I was a part of. It was just such a lovely conference. Hello, Puffin Dutchess, Felicia, and Sandra from Novelty Cigars. It was a wonderful raffle, and my communication manager and girlfriend, Karen Kennedy, she's sitting by me, so she's holding my stuff, and she says, "What you win? You always win." And I was like, okay. I won, but she was outside with my raffle ticket. And I was just like, just give it to someone else. But it's so funny because I normally win. I normally win too. I normally win too. Yes, it's been a fantastic show. Thank you for coming on, Chris. And I'm glad you won. Enjoy them. Please do enjoy them. Actually the Robusto is like it's been such my go-to. It's just been like my favorite. My favorite. So yeah. So you're getting you're getting one of my favorites.
All right. And before we end out the show, just a reminder to everybody, if you go over to getyourcigars.com and you
Yes.
buy a 5-pack of any Stixxx and Stones, CK is going to give you free shipping and a 5-pack of the Get Your Cigars house blend, which I'm smoking one right now. These things are bangers. All right.
Awesome. Yes. Yes.
So just as a reminder to everybody out there to get on over, go support CK at Cigars at Sunrise by going to getyourcigars.com. And
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. You guys come over to IG. Please do follow us at STIXX Stones 225 and Smokin SOSMOK Smokin without the G Hermanas HERMANAS 1. Please do support our new channel. Support us. We would love for you. Yes, on IG, please. And yeah, come over and just drop a hola mi gentes. Come on and say hello.
So if you're trying to find anything Stixxx and Stones or Smokin Hermanas, in the description I've got direct links that will take you right there. All right, I made it that easy for you, and I will update the description there to put in CK's wonderful offer out there.
Yes, get your offers, guys. I mean, he is giving such great competitive prices. Go on the website. It's just not Stixxx and Stones. Of course, I want you to buy Stixxx and Stones. However, it's just not Stixxx and Stones that he has, featured. Specifically, I'm speaking about boutique brands. So, there's some really great brands out there. And as Daniel says, don't be afraid to try something new. You'll be surprised. So get on there and get your pack, guys, and then get your complimentary. Oh, come on. Like you're walking away with tons of cigars.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A 5-pack of the house blends.
Right.
The house blend,
they're good. No, they're really good. Yeah, they're really good. So you can't go wrong, guys. You can't go wrong
with that. All right. Before we end out the show, anything you would like to promote there, Wanda? I'll hand it over to you.
Well, aside from we'll be in New Orleans from the 10th to the 13th, along with the PCA. We're also we'll be coming out with our 3rd blend, so you guys stay tuned. Watch out for that as well, and just come on and support all the entrepreneurs that we have out. Smokin Hermanas, we come on the last Sunday of every month, and this would allow you to meet a lot of other entrepreneurs and get exposed to them. So, just support, guys. That's the only thing that I really want to promote. I just want you guys to really support everyone that is out here doing things the right way. So that's it. And you guys are in New Orleans, do come out, come say hello, and raise your ashes with me. Just let's raise these ashes together and let's just have a good time. Yeah, and thank you for coming on. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. If you're going to be in New Orleans, I'll be in New Orleans, so I'll be wandering the sales floor, filming and doing stuff. I'm also going to try and hit some of the NOLA Cigar Fest events going on as well on Thursday and Friday. So I'm going to try and get myself out there as soon as I get into New Orleans. On that, no shows for the next 2 weeks because I'm going to be in New Orleans.
You got stuff to do.
I'll be in New Orleans, and I need to give my palate a little bit of a break for a couple of weeks too.
For sure.
Way too much smoking going on.
So, for sure. Make sure you guys reset those palates. Nice little sparkling water, some lemon water, nice little dark chocolate. I keep them handy all the time. It's a nice reset. So make sure you guys reset those palates and, so you can enjoy our Stixxx Stones cigars.
Yes. So So yeah, so you'll just have to deal without me for a couple weeks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But we'll be back at a nice full run of shows for May and the beginning of June. So I'm looking forward to the guests. I hope you all are too out there. And that is it, everybody. Again, make sure you get it
Awesome.
to getyourcigars.com. Buy any 5-pack of Stixxx and Stones. Get free shipping and a free 5-pack of Get Your Cigars house blends out there. So thank you to CK from Cigars at Sunrise for that,
Yes.
for
Yes.
putting that offer out there on that. And that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Chat, you guys always crush it. And we will see you in a couple weeks. Take care. Be safe out there. Don't do anything Wanda and I wouldn't do
Awesome.
because we're sweet and innocent boys and girls. And we will see you all later, everybody.